Hi, my name is Kent Rader. I'm a professional speaker and comedian helping people learn and experience how laughter matters in reducing stress. Being a former CPA as well as a hospital CFO, people often ask me, how do you go from accounting to comedy? Well, I'll tell you, it's easy if you're a bad accountant. When I first decided to be a speaker, I wanted my corporate culture to reflect the values that I speak about. And as you'll see on my video, I talk about developing a very relaxed and a very creative environment. So I decided I would always follow the fashion advice of Gilda Radner. Gilda said her fashion sense was based on what didn't itch. So I decided I'd always wear running pants, t-shirts, and running shoes because it's comfortable for me. A friend of mine, though, recently asked me, aren't you afraid of not looking professional? Well, it got me thinking, Bernard Madoff, that guy, he looked professional. Those guys that took down Enron, those guys looked professional. I think it's more important that we be professional. The two comments I get most frequently from meeting planners are, I'm easy to work with and I deliver a quality keynote. Because you guys have more important things to worry about than a speaker being a prima donna. So if you're looking for an entertaining quality keynote, I'm your guy. If you just need someone who looks professional, I hear with good behavior, those Enron guys will be out in 3 to 5 years. Thank you for watching my video, and always remember the words of Gilda Radner, who said, laughter matters.
When my kids were young, Twyla was a stay-at-home mom, and one night I came home from work. She met me at the back door, and she goes, unless you want this house to be a murder scene come morning, you keep those kids away from me tonight. I did have the good sense not to ask what's for supper. Because it's pretty obvious I'm going to have to cook supper. So when the kids got dressed to go to Pizza Hut, some of your husbands have cooked, I see. Maggie, who is 3, is wearing her Easter dress, which is this light blue dress with white lace that she called the Purple Daz. Nobody knows why. My son, who is 5, is wearing Superman pajamas with cowboy boots and a pair of Superman underwear on the outside. Turn backwards. I'm thinking they look okay. Now, the minute we ordered the pizza, Maggie goes, Daddy, I've got a potty. Right? I hate taking 2 toddlers to a public restroom, right? Because you have to hold your daughter over the toilet so she doesn't catch anything. Every one of you knows about hovering. Don't act like you don't. Right? And with little girls, you got to angle them just right so they don't pee on your shoes, At the same time, you have to watch the boy, making sure he doesn't touch anything, getting his hands dirty. When Maggie hikes up the Purple Daz, I notice she's not wearing underpants. Something I hope she's outgrown now that she's in college. Now I don't want to hear a peep out of this table, all right? So I'm thinking if somebody sees this, they're going to think I'm a pervert, right? So I turn to the boy. I said, give me those Superman underwear. I'm not kidding. He goes, but Dad, they contain my superpowers. Like an idiot, I go, so do mine, but mine are too big for him. When the waitress brought us our pizza, Maggie goes, you know I'm wearing my brother's Superman panties. Because Daddy's panties are too big for me. Did you know Daddy's panties contain his superpowers? Took us 6 weeks to get him out of foster care, but anyway. If you learn nothing else from me, begin to recognize you are the architect of your stress. And your stress comes from your thoughts. And your thoughts about situations that you find stressful are no more important than your thoughts about any other situation. They're simply thoughts. Simply thoughts. The other thing Richard Carlson points out is that just because you have thoughts about a situation doesn't mean your thoughts are based in reality. They're simply thoughts. Just because you have thoughts about a situation doesn't mean your thoughts are based in reality. They're simply thoughts. I got to tell you guys, I don't think there is such a thing as a normal relationship out there. Right? For two people to stay together for a long period of time, you two just have to figure out how you're going to do it. Right? Take, for example, I am completely ignorant when it comes to home repairs. Right? I don't know how to do anything around the house. I don't want to know how to do anything around the house. Plus, I have no motivation because my wife, Twyla, can do anything. Plumbing, carpentry work. I came home 2 weeks ago. She had rewired every outlet in the kitchen. I mean, she's like Bob Vila without a beard. But when Twyla does a project, my responsibilities are to cook, stop asking stupid questions, and to go to the hardware store to buy supplies. Because I don't know if you people notice this, but the guys that work at the hardware store treat every man walking in there like he knows what he's talking about, and every woman walking in there like she doesn't. Right? Talk about not having thoughts based in reality. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Twyla sends me to the store to buy staples for her staple gun. I've got this number. I get down to Lowe's. There are 40,000 staples down at Lowe's. Not one of them number M5613. So I bought a new staple gun that had staples in it. Right? I said I'm ignorant, not stupid. But I could do without Twyla's sarcasm. When I handed her that second staple gun, she goes, I'm glad you know how to pump gas. I'd hate to have to buy a new car every 400 miles. She sends me to the store to buy lumber. The entire drive down there, I'm rehearsing. I need 5 number 1 2x4s, 8 feet long. 5 number 1 2x4s. Walk in, find the lumber guy, and I go, hey, son, I need 5 number 1 2x4s, 8 feet long. I nailed it. No pun intended, right? He goes, oak or pine? I'm thinking, come on, Kent, you've watched Trading Spaces. You ought to be able to do this. So I looked at him and I go, well, we're working up there in the attic. What would you suggest? He goes, well, it depends. Are you working on the joist? Oh, God. Hold on here a second. I'm going to call my contractor. Yeah, honey? You want oak or pine? 'Cause the lumber boy's asking. Pine. Oh, hey, when the buzzer goes off, take the meatloaf out of the oven. I go, we'll take pine. Kid goes, you called your wife? I go, yeah, and he said, man, don't feel bad. 2 months ago, some woman was in here exchanging a staple gun because her husband's too stupid to buy staples. Yeah, that makes me feel better. If you learn nothing else from me, begin to recognize that you are the architect of your stress. And your stress comes from your thoughts. And your thoughts about situations that you find stressful are no more important than your thoughts about any other situation. They're simply thoughts. They're simply thoughts. Also, remember that just because you have thoughts about a situation doesn't mean your thoughts are based in reality. They're simply thoughts. They're simply thoughts.
It's a simple solution, but some have actually been known to reduce stress by laughing.
Well, there you go. Pressing deadlines and ringing telephones can make any workplace stressful, like around here.
That's right.
It's crazy sometimes. And Kent Rader told healthcare employees today that humor can help. Marilyn Barnett's in the newsroom now with more. Yeah, Marilyn, can this work for any working environment?
Well, Kent Rader says it can work anywhere, even in the home. The U.S. Department of Labor puts healthcare employees and educators as one of the most top stressful occupations. So that's why he's going around telling these employees that all they need to do is find a reason to laugh. It's been a while since some of these faces were able to laugh, especially during work hours.
It was really funny, uplifting. I'm still laughing from earlier today.
And it's the laughter that can help reduce stress in the workplace. Vicki works at Good Samaritan Hospital and says these healthcare employees really can use Kent Rader's solution to relieve stress.
Humor and laughter is such an important tool that we have in relieving stress. What we're going to be talking about is not only where do those stressful feelings come from, but how we can bring more humor into our daily life, not just here at work, but at home as well.
Kent says just hanging around funny people and developing your own sense of humor really helps ease job tension. But sometimes humor can be taken too far.
One of the things I always point out is that the same humor that we can use to heal people can also hurt people. There's a lot of cruelty in humor. The easiest person in the world to make fun of and maybe the safest is yourself.
But after walking away from today's presentation, employees like Vicki now know the value of laughter.
Just the laughter. And just, you need to have humor. If you can't laugh at not only yourself, but at other people, you can't reduce that stress. You just need to laugh.
Did y'all ever see the movie As Good as It Gets? Melvin Udall, the obsessive compulsive. Twilight and I went to see the movie As Good as It Gets, and she laughed and she laughed and she laughed because she said that wasn't Jack Nicholson up there on the screen. That was Kent Rader. I just don't see it. Yes, I do clean my hands more than the average person, but I believe that says more about the average person than me. But I love this hand sanitizer because I can't wash my hands as much as I travel. I can't wash my hands as often as I want to. So I have one of these bottles in every bag I travel with. But have you ever read the ingredients? It's 60% alcohol and 40% water, which according to my mother were the same ingredients as my dad on New Year's Eve. Weirdest part about being a comedian is that when people find out what you do for a living, they always ask the same thing. Why don't you say something funny? It's gotten so annoying I've gone to telling people I'm a Chippendale dancer. That's not funny. I was working at a comedy club in Wichita, Kansas a number of years ago, and I got to spend the week reading the local newspaper, the Wichita Eagle. This thing is one step up from the National Enquirer. Right? We got a war going on. We got terrorists trying to kill us. Wichita had a serial killer loose for 30 years, BTK. The guy was sending letters to the police every day telling how he was going to kill again. And the first morning I was there, the front page story was about a 50-pound catfish that tried to swallow a basketball. And the story said that this fish has become somewhat of a celebrity. I guess there's a picture on the internet of this fish with this basketball puck in its mouth. And the story said that the lady who took the picture had become the catfish's spokesperson. Because, and I quote, the fish can't talk. Thinking, of course it can't talk. It's got a basketball puck in its mouth. 3 years ago, I'm on an 11-day trip when they catch this BTK killer. The guy's name is Dennis Rader. Every airport, every restaurant, every hotel, when they saw my credit card, they go, Rader. You from Wichita? Checking into a hotel in Birmingham, the lady goes, Rader, you from Wichita? And I go, yes, and did I have to get out of there? In fact, is there a Walmart handy? Because I need to buy rope, duct tape, and a knife. They arrested me faster than Michael Jackson at a Chuck E. Cheese. And I don't care if you don't like that joke, that's my favorite joke of the day. Well, God decided to punish me for this, so I caught the stomach flu while I'm in Birmingham. Right? The next day on a flight to St. Louis, I got fever, I got chills, I'm nauseous. I'm thinking I'm going to die right here on this plane, and thanks to rigor mortis, my body will permanently be in a full, upright, and locked position. In the middle of the night in my hotel room, I get up to go to the bathroom, I pass out. And when I passed out, I hit my head on something in the room. When I came to, I've got blood trickling down into my face. So I pull myself into bed, call 911. Now, when two paramedics and a sheriff deputy find a bloody body in a hotel room registered with the same name as a serial killer, well, Lucy, you got some explaining to do, right? This paramedic goes, Rader, you from Wichita? When I told him I was from Oklahoma, I'm not kidding, the sheriff deputy goes, isn't Wichita in Oklahoma? They sent Barney Fife to save me, right? We're in the elevator going down to get into the ambulance, and the paramedic said, so what are you doing here in Birmingham? And I said, or what are you doing here in St. Louis? And I said, well, I'm a comedian. Barney looks up and he goes, why don't you say something funny? Before I could stop myself, I went, Wichita, Oklahoma. They get me to the hospital, they hook me up to an IV, they give me a popsicle, and they're going to put staples in the back of my head to close this wound. But before they do, the nurse has to shave the hair off the back of my head. And she must have been using like a potato peeler. Right? Because it was just scraping this hair off the back of my head. Finally, I stop and I go, could we stop saying that hurts? She goes, I don't doubt it. I haven't shaved my legs all winter. That's more than I need to know from a healthcare provider. But the nurse's name was Sandy Sumsky, and she was one. Not only was she funny with me, she was funny with everybody in the hospital. And not only did she help me relax during a very stressful period of my life, you could tell she was a leader in that hospital. People came to her and she made them laugh. Hang out with those folks that make you laugh and make them leaders in your organization. Make them leaders in your organization. What are the odds? I got the one doctor in the country that's pompous and arrogant. Come on, sarcasm. Join me, will you? This doctor walks in. He wants to keep me for observation. I go, no, listen, man, you don't understand. In 3 hours, I have to be speaking at a school. Plus, I fly to Kansas City tonight and do 2 shows in the comedy club. He storms out of the room, right? A minute later, Sandy walks in, and I go, hey, can I get another popsicle? And she goes, no, Dr. Cayley says you're not a good boy. But they have like this industrial strength stapler in the ER, and it's like, it's like bam, bam, bam in the back of my head, right? After like the 3rd staple, I go, can we stop for a second? That hurts. She goes, yeah, we need to reload. But when she found out what I do for a living, she goes, my sister is going to be so jealous knowing I worked on a Chippendale dancer. I'm going to talk to this side of the room for a minute. Now, she goes, why don't you say something funny, right? So I told her the Wichita, Oklahoma joke, right? She walks out of the ER, and Barney is standing there in the hallway. And I hear her go, hey, didn't I see you on Jeopardy last night? Alex, I'll take geography for $200.